Welcome back to the Crypto Trends Podcast, where we cover all things cryptocurrency, blockchain, Web 3.0. I'm Robert Croak, and I'm joined by my illustrious co-host, Armando Pantoja. Both of us and our amazing team are excited to bring you the best information, guidance, and strategies each and every Wednesday. So as I always say, follow along and remember to take notes and take action. So let's get into talking point number one and the issue that's at the top of mind for everyone. Trump wins, he's going to be the new president, and crypto is ripping. And so let's dig in a little bit on talking point number one about Bitcoin hitting record highs so quickly. We touched right at around $90,000 just following the election. And I think we just have a ton of optimism with Trump going to be in office and having a government with a crypto-friendly stance. So let's go into that for a little bit, Armando, because I think it's so important for everyone to understand why all of a sudden is crypto just going mad with the announcement of Trump's win and becoming president.
It's like most markets, right? It's that it's based on sentiment, how people feel about a particular asset and what its potential is in the future. And that's what's happening with Bitcoin, is that people are starting to see a bright future ahead because of renewed optimism, a new administration coming in and making it pro-crypto as opposed to, as we've been the last 4 or 5 years, against cryptocurrency. The United States is finally saying that, look, we were sorry. We were wrong about cryptocurrency, and now we're willing to make amends, right? And they're going to, like I said, Trump said he's going to fire Gary Gensler. That's the first step. Second step is he's going to free Ross Ulbricht. That's another positive sign for crypto. It's like the United States apologizing for past misdeeds. So a lot of people are very excited about what's coming. And that's what's pushing Bitcoins and crypto overall so high. And like we said, last year on the trading floor of the stock market, that Bitcoin would be at these prices this time this year.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how our steak dinner bet falls out, because we're coming close to the end of the year and we have it on record and on film as far as what we both said Bitcoin would be at. And I think it's going to be really close for one of us. So I'm excited. Yeah. So let's talk about a couple of things that I want to break down for everyone. Trump made it very clear that he was going to fire Gary Gensler on day one. Just so everyone understands, he does not have the power as president to do that. And because Gary Gensler works for a separate entity, it is not under the purview of the president to fire him. Now, do I believe Gary Gensler will get pushed out somehow, some way? Absolutely. But I just want to make sure everyone following understands this won't be an overnight day one thing as Trump announced, but it'll still be great news for that pro-crypto stance. And I think that's the most important factor here for everyone to understand, that having a president and a full new look on cryptocurrency as a positive for the United States. I want to ask you, before I go any further, do you believe that this pro-crypto stance and everything that we're seeing talked about, once Trump is fully elected and we're through the inauguration, do you think it's too late, or can he reverse and his team reverse all of the negativity that has happened within the crypto adoption and the U.S. over the last few years? Do you think it's too late, or can he fix this?
I think he's already fixing it. Just the optimism of what he's talked about on the campaign trail is starting to fix it now. But to actually solidify it, he has to start making those changes once he gets in. He has to make those changes, because optimism only goes so far. People have to see real life movement forward. It has to be, right? And Gary has to be gone. And what I don't understand is that if somebody didn't want me somewhere, I would just leave. I don't know why these government people fight to stay in a place where obviously they're not wanted. And the country doesn't want him. The crypto community doesn't want him. The regulatory, the stocks and that, nobody wants him there. He's been horrible for cryptocurrency, and he's put America behind many years. And a lot of countries are really past us now with crypto. America has a lot of catching up to do. But I think that can happen very rapidly as long as Trump gets in, he keeps his eye on the prize, and he does the things that he said he was going to do. That's going to solidify the growth going forward.
Yeah, to answer your question, it's really simple. What keeps him there? Power and money. And that's it. Exactly. What does Gary Gensler do in the private sector if he were to walk away from this? I don't know, but I think it's a little bit scary when you're in his position. Same with Jerome Powell. You saw the interview the other day where he was point blank asked if he was asked to leave, would he go? And he said no. That was it. One word answer. I thought it was pretty bomb that he did that. I'm not so sure that's how it's going to play out for him. It'll be good to see these changes because like you said right now, we're all living through this optimism. The markets are ripping, crypto's ripping, the stocks are ripping. Everything is very euphoric right now because of all the positive news. And I believe it just gives people that sentiment of security because we've had 4 years of what's been happening. And leading up to the election, let's call it the last 6 months, there's been so much uncertainty that a lot of people sat on the sidelines in cash. And I think that is going to change dramatically. And we're already seeing the effects of it with Bitcoin at all-time highs. XRP is ripping. Everything is moving positively. And I think that is fantastic. And as we see actual action taken, then I think we will really see the big moves in 2025 for cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I want to agree with you there is that what I see in the market now, a lot of people say, wow, look how great it's going. But what's really happening is that uncertainty during the election was like a spring that was being compressed, right? Because markets weren't moving, crypto was not moving because people didn't know what was going to happen. So once the election was over, that spring has been released. And that's we're seeing all that potential that was built up during the 6 months prior to the election now showing up in the markets and the prices. So that's what we're seeing, really. And it's not so much as, oh, it's a bubble, whatever. It's just all of that lost potential now being regained.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And we talked about this a lot, is that the retail is always last. And one of the biggest and best parts about cryptocurrency for me over the last 12, 13 years has being able to feel like it's a cheat code because you're ahead of all the institutional and the wealthy and the countries and the big banks. And now that they're all jumping in, it's getting flipped to where retail is last. And that is not what we want to see. And that is why we are here with the Crypto Trends podcast to educate people so you know what to do in these uncertain times and in the bull markets as well. Because a bull market does no one any good if you don't take profits and you don't have an exit strategy. So let's go into talking point number 2 because everyone's asking us about it. I'm sure your DMs are filled as well. What is going on with meme coins after the election and why are they blowing up so quickly? And the answer is simple. We have talked about this for months that people go back to what they know. And in the last bull run, everyone printed money with Dogecoin and Shiba Inu and a few other of the altcoins and these meme coins. So they're going back into what they know. And I think most of Dogecoin's excitement is stirred around not only Trump being pro-crypto, but Elon Musk's involvement with Trump and what's going to move forward because Elon has messed around with Dogecoin for quite a while. And we don't even know if that's the next step for what he's going to introduce. But I think that hype is enough that we're seeing Doge, Shiba, and some of the other meme coins really crushing right now. So walk us through that a little bit of what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I agree with the Dogecoin being connected to Elon Musk. And a lot of people see that as a positive sign. There's something going around that says that Dogecoin is going to stand for Department of Government Efficiency.
Elon Musk said that in an interview, and that's where it came from. And that was not coincidental. That is his cryptic way of doing what he does. But you have to think about it. Just picture for a moment if you, the GOAT, had the power, money, and influence of Elon Musk, we'd all be screwed because you would be uncontrollable. So at least give Elon Musk some credit because he's the wealthiest, most powerful person on earth, and he does some fun stuff with it, and I love it. But in the end, I think he does what is best for the world and the future of this planet, for his kids and everyone else's kids. So I think it's important, but walk us through the meme coin part of this, why you like it, and should people still be dollar cost averaging into meme coins?
Yeah, like I've been on record as saying that I don't really long term hold meme coins that much because I'm an old school crypto. I believe in utility value. But people will argue that against, but I haven't been able to wrap my mind around the true value of meme coins yet. Now, and maybe I will in the future. But I do see it as an investment, right? And the reason why is because the investment is only 2 things we really need to be good investors is that we have to be able to see past the masses, get in before they get in. and also just buy assets that we think are going to go up. Now, it doesn't matter why it goes up, really.
Yep.
If it goes up because of hype, it goes up because of a bubble, it doesn't really matter because you put money in, take it out, as long as you make a profit. With meme coins, I don't see them long term, but I do see investment potential because something like Shiba, something like Dogecoin, the masses are going to go right back into Pepe, those coins. They're going to go right back into that. Now, we're not at retail influx yet, really a large-scale retail influx. So in about a month or two, all the people that were on the sidelines for the last 2 years, they don't know what we know. They don't know what our listeners know. All they know is that crypto's back. Let me open I had Shiba. Oh, look how much that went up. Look, so I'm just going to buy those again. I don't know how to buy anything else. And they're going to buy those back, and that new volume that comes from the new people buying pushes the prices up. So if you get in ahead of them in the next month or so, you will see great profits in a lot of meme coins. But the key is choosing the right ones that the people are going to get back into. And what I think is that the ones that did well in the previous cycle are going to do well again. But then what's going to happen is once these people get in, they're going to start following people, listening, and then that money's going to outflow to all the other meme coins. So you're only going to have a small window, maybe 2 or 3 months, to beat the masses and get into those old meme coins.
I want to bring up something, and let's go back for just a second, and that is you mentioned it doesn't matter why it goes up as long as you can make a profit. I think this is a very important and under-discussed point of investing. And I'm not telling everybody to go out and YOLO their money in meme coins because that's not a good strategy either. But it's okay to take some risk, some higher risk with a smaller portion of your portfolio and your investable income. Because one of the things I notice in the markets is that the economists and these analysts that are out there that overanalyze all the technicals, they never perform in a year as good as I perform. They just don't, because they're never looking at momentum. They're not looking at the macro environment around that sector of crypto or a stock trend. And so that is how we catch these big waves, is understanding consumer sentiment around that sector. And I think it's very important for people to understand we want you to be very selective and smart and have a good investment thesis. But sometimes when you take these high risk plays, they really do pay off. And that's why we're always telling you, if you want to invest a small portion of your portfolio into some of these higher risk items, we're totally fine with that. Just be careful that you don't get caught up in a shill game, because these pump and dumps will wreck you. So always make sure that you're checking first before you just dump a bunch of money in because you see a bunch of influencers talking about a coin, because that's how you get wrecked in a bull market, and we don't want to see that happen.
And I want to add one more thing. Stop over-dependent on technicals. Please stop. I'm tired of people sending me technical charts. It's going down to 14 and it's going to stop. Technicals did not see what happened over the last 2 weeks.
Nope.
Technicals don't see overarching trends in macroeconomics, politics. Charts only see what the current people at this time think this coin is worth. Right? And it's just group psychology. That's all it is. You can see a lot in the charts, but it's not an end-all, be-all solution for understanding how markets work. If you try to do that, yeah, it'll work sometimes, but it will miss things like this. So you expand your knowledge to other things and stop being over-dependent on technical and chart readings. It's not the whole picture. And a lot of people, were, oh, yeah, Bitcoin's going back to 14,000, because if you look at, it's not ever going back to 14,000. It never has in any bull market.
Right.
The top of the bull market. It hasn't went down that far, ever. So it's not going to happen this time. And the charts may say it, but it's not. It was a guy here in Tampa that was adamant that Bitcoin was going to retrace back to 6,000. And he said over and over on YouTube for a year, it's never going to 6,000. That's because he was over-reliant on charts. We have to stop doing that.
Yeah, you saw the post that I made a couple days ago with the Jim Cramer video. Did you see my story?
Yeah, I saw that.
Where he said that anyone that was buying cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin were idiots. And I was like, I'm that idiot, but I know I've made millions of dollars doing it, so I'll keep being called the idiot by people like him. So let's get into our next talking point, and that is Ethereum's push. I think that Ethereum has lagged quite a bit, but it's starting to move just like everything else. And I think it's important for people to understand that with Ethereum's DeFi and NFT ecosystem stronger than ever, I think that too many people are overlooking Ethereum for Solana right now. And I made it clear even publicly. Someone asked me if I were to put in $1,000 between Ethereum and Solana, what would it be broken down and weighting wise? And I said that right now, $1,000, I would do 700 in Solana and 300 in Ethereum. But that's because I already have a large bag of Ethereum. But I do think moving forward for the newer investors and people that are just getting in, you should absolutely own Ethereum. But I do Solana better as a long-term play from this point moving forward. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I have a big, huge bag of Ethereum. Like I've always said, is I think Ethereum will be the number one crypto in the world eventually. Solana is also a very great token. And I think with the meme coin rush, remember, a lot of meme coins are going to be built on Solana because Solana is a lot cheaper than Ethereum right now, at least. But the thing about it is that I had family members write me, especially last night. One of my family members wrote me, and they have some Ethereum, and they said they were in like a complete panic. Maybe I should have switched to Bitcoin. Should I switch now? Bitcoin's going up at a higher rate. And I'm saying, listen to yourself.
Right.
You're going to chase something that's already went up. Now, if we go back to 2017, and I always tell people, you can meet me at a conference, you can tell me from the last 10 years, you could give me a month and a day, and I could tell you the price of Bitcoin within 10% for that particular month. I remember all of this. But in into 2017, December, Bitcoin hit a high of right under 20,000, right? Ethereum did not hit its all-time high for another 5 to 6 weeks after that. Bitcoin started to retract, and Ethereum kept going up. And Bitcoin at that time, Ethereum's high was around 14, or a little bit over 1,400.
Yep.
So traditionally, and in the past, Ethereum has always followed Bitcoin. The all-time highs have always came later. So, and the retracements have always come later because the money flows into Bitcoin's dominance goes up, and then that money flows back out into altcoins, and that's when Ethereum will have its time to shine. So Ethereum will eventually reach all-time highs, highly likely before the end of the year. And after that, we're going to see Ethereum do higher percentage gains than Bitcoin going forward in this cycle.
Yeah, there's a lot of analysts out there that believe we will see in this bull cycle a $20,000, $22,000 Ethereum. I don't know if we see that high.
Yeah, that's pretty high.
But maybe let's call it by 2030, 32. But I would be shocked if we didn't see an Ethereum of $8,000 to $10,000 in the next year to 2 years. So I'm okay with it. I like Solana a lot as well if we're comparing the two. But I think that we're going to continue to see Ethereum move. And everyone needs to stop thinking about where is just the best proposed gain, because in these instances, you also want to have some security and less volatility. And that's why we like the coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP, Chainlink, some of these projects that have been around for a long time, that have a ton of development happening, a ton of adoption happening, because you're going to get less volatility. You don't want to have all of your money chasing, because then, yes, you might win big, but you might also lose everything and get wrecked, even while we're in a bull market. And it's the same thing with stocks. Everyone asks me all day, every day, what's the next NVIDIA? What's the next Palantir? Guess what? Those two projects are still crushing it. Why are you looking for the next one? Reap your gains of what you have already, because every single day, every single week, every single month, there is not a new next Bitcoin or a next NVIDIA, and you have to be willing to be long-term into the projects that are getting you these huge gains as it is. So let's go into talking point number 4, and that is AI tokens are really pushing to the center stage of everything. We've been talking about AI tokens for years now, and people are finally catching up, and that's why our gains have been massive on these coins like Fetch AI, Near Protocol, BitTensor Tau, ASI. All of these are really coming to the center stage as AI gets traction in the crypto space and throughout all sectors, even in the stock world, because as we see this merge of blockchain and AI together, it's going to really make magic happen. So walk our audience through and let's break that down a little bit of why AI is changing the game so much and what it means to the future of crypto, blockchain, and the stock market.
Yeah, so I think AI tokens, like I've always said, is I strongly believe that what's happened in stocks over the last 2 years with NVIDIA, with Palantir, with SoundHound, C3.ai. Every stock is going to extend into cryptocurrency. And I've always said that blockchain really needs AI to flourish. And AI, to be honest, really needs blockchain to flourish. These are two technologies that need each other. And I think they'll eventually merge. And one of the biggest opportunities is taking these big AI models and tokenize them to democratize ownership and democratize profits. Right now, because if we look at what AI is doing right now with Sam Altman, Elon Musk, if we're not careful, AI will be controlled by huge companies and huge individuals. Now, we can't let that happen. So the solution is for blockchain to take these AI models, like, for example, an AI model that runs a call center, right? So let's say this AI model takes in calls, it sends the calls out, and it processes the data, whatever. So now I can buy a piece of this call center, right? And then every time somebody contracts with the call center, they may pay into it with Ethereum, and that Ethereum may be sent out to the token holders. So now I may have worked for a call center in the past, my job got replaced, I could take that money and buy a piece of the call center that replaced my job, and now I can receive that, what we refer to as universal basic income. So these things can help that process happen a lot faster. So I think AI will be a major narrative that a lot of people aren't talking about now. Sometime middle of next year, Q3, everybody's going to be talking about AI tokens. Everybody's going to be creating AI tokens to do this and that and other. And that's all we're going to be talking about right before the retraction in the crypto market. So I think that's going to be the NFT of 2025.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think that's where this real world asset, we hear RWA all the time, and tokenization is really going to make a difference. We're seeing it in real estate already. We're seeing it in fine art, where it really levels the playing field. So many people fear adoption and technological advancement. And honestly, the people that are just getting started or don't have the huge net worth and they're trying to build wealth, this levels the playing field for them. As we adopt more and more, it allows people to be able to own a piece of a $10 million piece of art, a $50 million building, where they can buy through tokenization on the blockchain their pro rata share of these bigger projects. So that's the cool part for the everyday person that's an investor and wants to grow their wealth. Being able to do that, and all of that is happening right before our eyes. And I think it is one of the best things as far as how I function to see the little guy get a chance. Because I'm old enough that when I got started, we didn't have any of this. And when I wanted a chance, I went to all my friends and family and other people trying to raise capital to buy an apartment building. It was difficult and sometimes took months. Now you can get involved in these massive projects for very little money because of tokenization and the blockchain. So I'm so excited for our listeners and everyone that is paying attention. So let's get into our last topic of the day, and that is everyone being careful and being able to fight off scammers. You and I joke about it all the time, that all of these influencers come out of the woodwork as being experts in cryptocurrency, but we haven't seen them in the last 3 years because crypto was in a down market and they didn't know how to make money during a down market, or they just ran off to their other shiny ball syndrome project because they're not true crypto enthusiasts. So let's talk about it, because with deep fake and these technologies improving, and with so much hype around the crypto space right now, there's going to be more and more scams. So make sure all of you are careful. Armando and I are not going to be hitting you up for $100 in cryptocurrency on WhatsApp or any of these telegrams of the world. All of our accounts are also verified, so keep that in mind, and just be careful out there, but walk them through some of the safeguards to help them in these times, because it's going to be wild for the next 18 months, and people need to be smart and also careful.
There's a couple of type of scams that are out there. It's the outright scam, in which they fake your picture or my picture or anybody else, Elon Musk, whatever, and they just take your money and say you're going to invest it for you or whatever.
Yep.
Then there's a second type of scam, and this is even more dangerous, is that, like, somebody sent me a video of somebody last night, said, this guy says this coin's going to go up. What do you think? And I looked at the guy, he was talking about real estate, and he was talking about drop shipping. I'm like, man, you have to scroll down and see how long were these people talking about cryptocurrency or assets in general, how much they had that shiny ball syndrome where they bounced around. But then I don't want to hear anybody telling me next year, check this coin out by JoJo the Twerk Queen.
Yeah.
What would she have to? Oh, she has a new twerk coin out.
Right.
And I'm like, what? Who is that? Like, I made that name up, but
I like it. I like it.
Hope it's nobody named that. But
hey, somebody will save it.
But like, why you have to be careful who you trust. Everybody who has a platform cannot give you financial advice or we can't really, but any type of financial guidance, you make sure you follow the right people. That's the second type of scam, because companies that are scammers will pay people who don't know, like that twerk queen, and then they'll tell her to promote this coin. She doesn't know any better.
Right.
So she promotes the coin to you. It's almost a scam by proxy.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in real quick before you go into point number 3. I was actually on a call recently with a group of guys that were launching a coin, and they admitted on the call with me that it was a pump and dump.
I had that happen too.
I said, what's the utility? What are you building this for? And how is it going to benefit investors? And they're like, oh, we're just taking advantage of the market. We think we can build this up. We've got great marketers. We've got money, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but everyone's going to get wrecked but you, and that's illegal. And not only that, but you should not be telling someone like me this on a call. And so that is the scary part. It happened in 2017 with ICOs. You could launch an ICO in the course of a couple days, and people would get big name people, pay them $100K to promote the ICO, pump the price up, and then everyone would get rug pulled. Don't let this happen to you, people. We've told you 100 times. Please listen to us, because there are so many great projects out there for you to make money. And I know it's in everyone's DNA to think that they got the cheat code from Bill at the barbershop or Mary at the beauty salon. Guess what? They don't know the cheat code. Follow people you trust and do your own research. Go.
If anybody has the potential to make 10 times your money, they're not going to approach you on Instagram.
That's right.
They're going to be closed to private equity, bank capital. You're not even going to hear about them. If anybody writes you out the blue, hey, how's it going? I hear you're into crypto. Want to make 10 times your money? That's a scam every single time.
Yep.
People don't do that. That never happens. Never. So anytime anybody approaches you for an investment, it's a 99.9% a scam. Anytime anybody promises you gains over 15%, it's high, 80, 90% a scam. So you have to be, the only person that can make those kind of gains are you yourself.
That's right.
Anybody else that tries to do it, say they're going to do it, there's no incentive for them to do that, even for a broker. Their incentive is to beat the market and keep your risk as low as possible. So that's about 15% a year if you're lucky. Yep. That's a high return year. So that's all a stockbroker or any kind of investment manager is going to get you anyway. So anything above that is that the person's taking on extra risk for what?
Yep.
So only you can take on that risk, and only you can make those kind of gains. Anybody else is going to either steal your money or lose everything.
It happens all the time, and that's why we see so many scams in a market like cryptocurrency when it's hot. And it just drives me nuts. It's like these guys that are out there selling a course telling you that they can make 2% a day Forex trading or 2% a day trading. If they could do that, they'd be raising billions of dollars. They would not be able to stop the amount of money that would come into their fund because of this opportunity. So just be careful out there and understand there is plenty of money to be made in cryptocurrency right now and in the stock market in all of these wonderful projects we talk about. So don't get caught up in the hype. There is no cheat code. It is just research, doing your best job to find the best projects where you can make the most money. So I want to thank everyone. That's not going to mess up the recording, right? Okay. So I want to thank everyone for stopping by each and every week at the Crypto Trends Podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube, and on Instagram at Crypto Trends Podcast. And if you like and you enjoy the podcast, please share with a friend. Give us that 5-star review. Help us continue to grow so we can provide you the best information, guidance, and strategies each and every week, whether it's a bull run or it is a bear market. We are here to help guide you. And we appreciate your support each and every week. So thank you all for joining.